Hi friends, Christine here. Welcome to Quilting on Caffeine. It is Thanksgiving week here in the United States, which means that it's a short week. And it also means that I should be a lot farther along in my holiday prep than I am. Normally I have the house decked, but not this year. That's okay though. It's okay. I have been quilting a bit, knitting a bit, and gearing up for the holiday season, even though I'm not actually making magic over here yet. I have had a kid homesick for a couple of days, so that has not been awesome. So, while I have not gotten much holiday prep done, I do have a clean house, which is something. I've thought about the holidays, which is something. But more importantly, I have been producing things, which is more than something. I got this quilt back from the Long Armor over the weekend. She was super quick on it. I was not super quick to pick it up because, you know, sick kids and all that. Not gonna share our germs. But look at this. Look at that quilting. It's so good. So I'm going to finish this week, even though it's, you know, there's not a ton of time. But what I'm really gonna focus on, not only in this vlog, but this week, is this. You haven't seen this before. This came together really quickly. I then had to put it aside when my kid decided to stay homesick had to stay homesick for a couple of days. So what I'm going to do right now is press this, layer it up with the backing and the batting, and take it over to be quilted. And we'll talk more about that when it comes time. And probably while I'm getting this prepared, I'll probably throw down the quilt I just got back from the Long Armor and just trim that up so that I can put the binding on that and call that done too. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have the quilt and the backing and the batting all laid out and flattened out on the floor, ready to get pinned. The lighting is not super awesome in here today because it's gloomy, but it's good enough that I can see what I'm doing, which is always a plus. So you can see that this is just a super simple, super modern layout and color palette. I just took a bundle of fabrics that my friend Colleen had put together for her shop, and then I added in some of the other fabrics that I had for another project that I was working on that I felt complemented this really well. I did not use a pattern. I believe Then Came June has a similar pattern that you can buy. I just cut apart 10-inch square blocks and then put some sashing in the middle, 1-inch sashings in the middle of it to build it back up to a 10-inch block. But yeah, it came together cutely. And when I say 10-inch blocks, I mean 12-inch blocks. So that you can use, I used a fat quarter pack, and that was my starting point. And 12 inches just felt like a nice size to start with. So now I'm going to pin this and get this on the quilting long arm. If you've visited my vlog before, you probably know that I'm a big fan of Christina Camelli's work, her quilting work, her fabric lines, basically everything. And this is her newest book that just got released last month, and I actually picked it up, and I think I shared it briefly in Vlogtober, but I don't think I actually cracked the cover. So I thought now would actually be a great time to flip through it real quickly, especially now that I have this quilt that I want to quilt up real quick. So it is, I would classify it as an inspirational book more than anything else. It does give a little instruction in the beginning about how to handle different free motion quilting situations. I have mentioned before I'm a big fan of Carly Porter and her graffiti quilting, and doodle quilting is another term that it's used, but this is along those lines, and it just tells you how to incorporate different motifs all together. So a lot of this is going to require playing, and I don't make enough quilts to play as much as I'd want, so I think I'm going to pick something here that's, and then pretty much straightforward utilize the motifs given over on this page and incorporate, I mean, not this one, that doesn't work for my quilt, but let's see. Ooh, that's pretty. So let's say I was to do something like this, which I probably won't because I'm not a big fan of flowers and don't have the skill set yet, but I would just incorporate the different pieces into the quilt. So I think I'm going to take a peek through this and then try to apply some of the knowledge in here into the quilt that I'm about to put on the mid-arm. One thing I'm trying to do is actually plan out the quilting before my quilt is underneath the needle of the mid-arm. So what I have right now is some paper that I use for pattern tracing my garment patterns, but I actually just cut off a piece of that here, and I am going to just practice doing or practice drawing out the quilting motif I'm thinking about using. Like they say, practice makes perfect, so this is just my way of doing it live on top of the actual quilt that I'm going to quilt, and seeing how it goes. I did want to throw in a few pieces of Alice in Wonderland imagery. That is the theme of the room that this is going to, but not over the top because, you know, the quilt should last longer than Little Girl's room, but I should be able to move on with her as she grows up or saves it for posterity. So I did play around with maybe doing teacups. So I might try doing some teacups and some other nested motifs to draw me through the quilt. Let's see how it goes. Okay, you can kind of see my lines here as I'm playing. I'm not sure that I actually want the teacup so prominent, or any of the imagery. Like if I were to throw in a little Mad Hatter hat or a little stopwatch, I don't know that I want it that big. I think I want it to kind of be a little surprise if you look closely enough. I'm also going to do just a thread that's very similar to my background fabric, so it's not like the quilting is going to pop off of this quilt. So we'll see. I am really loving this combination of free motion quilting patterns from the Christina Camelli book. I feel like it complements the fabrics that I've chosen really well. I'm also really in love with this combination, although I don't want to go down the pebbling route because, well, Pebbles and I, we're not friends right now. And I kind of like this. It kind of feels Anne of Green Gables to me. I don't know why. Which is another favorite literature book, so we will see what happens. I think what I'm going to do is just throw the quilts underneath it and kind of see what happens. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I think I'm all set to go. I did decide to, it's hard to see. It says fine point mark begun. I do think I'm going to just draw a little teacup down here to start off my quilting but for the majority of it, I'm not going to use Alice in Wonderland theme, but who knows. So I've got everything loaded up. I'm going to draw this on, and then I'm going to start quilting. I'd love to get the bottom row of the quilt done before dinner, but we'll see if that happens. Okay, so you can kind of see it. Sorry, the light is so bad today, but don't love it, don't hate it. It's cute. I did realize after I started quilting that I'm quilting this way. I'm quilting towards myself, and normally I am pushing away from myself. So I think we'll have to see how long I can actually think in reverse like that. We may need to rethink this setup, but we'll see. Okay, so I didn't record the quilting just now because I needed to make sure that I actually was back on track. And I think I am. My tension seems to have resolved, and I'm starting to find my way a little bit. You know, lesson here is maybe don't start with a hard object when you're starting off your quilting. Maybe work up to that. But that's not how I roll, ever. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this block, throw a new battery in the camera, start dinner, and then come back to this later tonight. 2 down, 7 to go. So I think I'm going to try to do these 2 or these 2 next. I'm starting to find my rhythm a little bit. I seem to have come up with a version of the Riverbank combination that Christina Camelli has in her book with my twist on it. So now we're going to finish up these next few panels. It would be lovely to get through this whole thing tonight, but we'll see. It's already a little bit on the later side. Whew. Nothing like running out of bobbin thread unexpectedly. That was my mistake though, because I actually should have been watching for that. So I reset it. That's one of the nice features about the Bernina Q16. You can give yourself a little heads up about when you're going to get close to running out of bobbin thread. But I think I've gotten myself back on track, so I am just going to quilt my way, I think, down here off the screen, unfortunately, and then back up to this corner so that I can pop up here and here, or pop up here. We'll see. I'll surprise myself. So my battery died just as I was about to finish this little Mad Hatter hat. And I didn't even realize it, so I did sneak in a little Alice in Wonderland reference again over here. And then I actually made my way up through this block. And now I am at the top here, so I'm going to work on the last 4 blocks. Okay, we're back at it. I feel like this has been a comedy of errors. I have run out of battery, I have run out of space on my card, and then I ran out of bobbin. And all in all, 24 hours has passed because that's how my time just slips away from me. So I am going to pick back up where I'm at. I have this block, a block off to the left, and then the center block to do. So this is just going to be more of the filler I've been doing on the quilt, and then I think I'll try to incorporate one more little Alice in Wonderland item in the block off to the left, and maybe the pocket watch in the center block. We'll see how it goes. And just like that, 2 days have gone by. I feel like recording this quilting has been a comedy of errors between photobombing and batteries running out, and then cards running out, and then my bobbin running out, and then my battery died again, so I have to figure out what's going on there. What a week. So I think what I'm gonna do now is, I did finish quilting the quilt except for the outer band. I'm gonna give you a little tour of that, and then probably edit this and post it, and maybe start Thanksgiving prep. Considering it's like tomorrow at this point, we'll see. So we're gonna go take a quick look at the quilts, all quilted up, and then I'll pop back on to wrap this up. Okay, so as I said, I still need to finish the edges, quilting the edges, but I just wanted to take a quick tour. I hope you can see some of the quilting. You can see here that I did a little teacup, and then the pocket watch, not the stopwatch. And it's really hard to see here, but let's see. There's I cannot say that word, the cat smile. And then Mad Hatter hat. So a couple of things of note is that I did a pieced back using this gorgeous Ruby Star Society fabric. Ooh. It's always good to turn over your work, because then you find little things like that that I'll need to fix. So what was I saying? I totally forgot already. Oh, so I did a piece back where I used this fabric. It's by Rashida Coleman Hale for Ruby Star. The line is, I have no idea, First Light. And then I used scraps from the stripes that I had. And you can kind of see, let's see if I can get a good angle here, the quilting. This is an adaptation of Christina Camelli's Riverbank compilation from her newest book. So all I need to do is finish the edges, bury my threads, which is where you take a needle and you pull any of your loose thread ends into the center of the quilt, and then I'll square it up and bind it. But for now, this is as far as it's gonna get. So now I really need to go start making Thanksgiving goodies. Even though what I really want to do is decorate for Christmas or Vlogmas. Oh, so many things. I am going to try to pop back in over the weekend before Vlogmas starts with a little pre-Vlogmas chit-chat and of what I've been up to versus like watch me sew. But we will see if I'll have a full house with kids and dogs and all the sorts of stuff. So we'll see if that actually happens. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming and joining me today, or this week, I guess I should say. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. I hope you enjoy your long weekend if you're getting one. And I will see you soon. Bye.